Y'all know what goes well with cheese? Crackers. Oh my goodness. So I really, at this moment in time, I can't help but laugh, okay? I really can't. Because I did a video not too long ago talking to you guys about DEI and how they were blaming black people for the plane that crashed. And some of you guys were talking about, Lucas, they're not talking about us. What do you mean? They're not talking about us. They're talking about other groups of people. No. They are talking about us. They are always talking about us. I don't know if you happen to notice, but black Americans are the scapegoat of America. Something going wrong, they blame black Americans. Inflation, black Americans. Crime, black Americans, okay? They didn't get the job they wanted, black Americans. They had blaming everything and anything on us, okay? Biden doesn't get elected, black Americans. The tire gets a flat, black Americans. They get the wrong order at Starbucks, black Americans. That is what has happened. We are the scapegoat to this country's problems because that is what we have always been here in this country, despite us just trying to get along. That's all we wanted, just trying to get along. Hey, y'all want to have your white water fountain, us have our black water fountain? Sure, by all means. We can't even have that, bro. We, at the end of the day, these mofos come from a lineage of evil. And this is something that I've said time and time again. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them come from a lineage of evil. And we see this not only in their behavior, which if you have any type of pattern recognition, you can see, oh, that evil begets that evil, that begets that evil, that begets that evil, that brings us to present day. We see it in their actions. We see it in their words. We see it in their demeanor. That's how we can tell. Now, this leads us to this saltine Charlie Kirk. And Charlie Kirk is talking about DEI once again. Okay, because as I told you before, they are trying to use DEI the same way they use CRT. They are trying to weaponize white Republicans' ignorance. That's all they're trying to do. They are trying to do that as a way to erase black Americans from this country. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They use CRT to attack the history books, okay? Because their white kids were feeling guilty. They were having white guilt for reading what this country did to black Americans. And white people didn't like that. I don't want my child reading that. That's racism. I don't want that. What they didn't do, use CRT to try and whitewash the history books. That's exactly what they did. Now they're using Asians to try and eradicate us from any perceived advantage that they think we're getting when it comes to affirmative action, okay? They went after that, they going for everything. That's what they're trying to do. They are trying to permanently remove us from this country. That's what they are attempting to do. And I need you all to understand this because it's not a game. It never has been a game. And they are very serious about their efforts and their actions. And there is a mass amount of people of the dominant society who are prone to fear, just as they were when it came to birth of a nation in the White House. They are prone to fear and they are prone to propaganda, no matter how inane it may be. When it comes to Charlie Kirk, this mofo talking about DEI and talking about, I gotta be honest with you, if I were to see a black pilot, okay, I would just hope, I hope they're qualified.
And that's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now thinking about that.
No, I mean, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Now, I want you to understand this. I want you to understand this. Can someone tell me a period of time where black people have been unqualified and magically gotten the job? Can someone tell me what point in time in American history did that ever happen? Okay? Because I want you to understand, they always love talking about merits, right? Well, this is a meritocracy. That's what we need to go back to. Excuse me? When did we ever have a meritocracy here? These same saltines don't even know their own history of the country that they reside in. Okay? I'm sorry. There was one group of people that you forced them to not only pay to vote, but also had to take an exam to vote. While freaking Billy Bob, okay, who's plowing his freaking sister, he got to vote due to the color of his skin. Can you explain to me at what point in time did black people not have to prove themselves? When did black Americans not have to go above and beyond the pale individual standing next to them just to prove that they were better than the rest, just to prove that, hey, we're just as good at them? This whole meritocracy, merit crap, this is nothing more than a racist ploy that their ancestors came up with. Like I said, a lineage of evil. That's what they are. It just is what it is. I'm not making it racist. I'm just making an observation. Having said that, I want you to think about this. Over damn near 90% of the pilots in this country are white. Who do they try and blame? As I told you in the beginning, who's scapegoat? America's scapegoat. Blaming black people. What are you talking about? Huh? What are you talking about? Who did the Delta get crashed by? It wasn't a black pilot. Who were the last few plane crashes? What, was it a black pilot? No, it was a white pilot. What are you talking about? But once again, they will try to blame us for everything. When it comes to meritocracy, merits and all this, sir, Charlie Kirk didn't get where he got from merit. He got because he's white and he placates to the dregs of society. He placates to the racists of society. He didn't get here because he's intelligent. He couldn't even get into college. Okay, what are we talking about here? This is what they want to say. And you have to understand, there are a dumb class of white people, Republican white people, who listen to this and are like, oh, that's right. I'm going to be I don't want this to happen. Bro, do you understand that there is actually a case of this actually happening where you had a woman who had their child, something was wrong with their little child, little Timmy. They went to the hospital and she said, hey, I want a white doctor. You're telling me there's not a white doctor in this facility?
Please see a white doctor.
It's only available after 4. If you're not,
So you're saying in the whole entire building there isn't one white doctor?
your kid has to be seen by a pediatrician.
Okay, so when you're telling me that my kid has chest pains, he's gonna have to sit here until 4 o'clock. Can I see a doctor, please, that's white?
Bro, I want you to understand this. She was going to let her child, little Timmy, suffer because she couldn't get a white doctor. I'm telling you, you have to understand. These mongrels who did January 6th, yes, they will do way worse than that, as history has shown us. All they need is a little push. All they need is a little fear, and that will cause them to do some of the most heinous things you can think possible, okay? I want you to understand that's all they need, and that's what Charlie Kirk and his cracker barrel of individuals are. That's all they're doing. They're manipulating as far as the plebs of white society. That's all they're doing. Here's the thing when it comes to the diversity, right? Because they try to play this off as diversity means anti-white. As I said before, when in the history of this country have we ever had anti-white? Never. And it will never happen. It will never happen, okay? What they are afraid of is competition. And it's not competition from other white people. It's competition from black men and black women. That's what they're afraid of. That's what they've always been afraid of. Okay? That's why you can see it's not white supremacy. It's white inferiority. That's where that has stemmed from. You have to understand the actions that they have plagued black Americans, whether it comes to subjugation, redlining, Jim Crow, slavery, everything. Prison, when it comes to as far as housing discrimination, when it comes to as far as the school systems, how they're funded, all of these systems in place, healthcare, education, all these systems in place are not from a sense of superiority, but it's from a sense of inferiority, okay? That's what you have to understand. Diversity, it's not anti-white, it's competition to white. That's what you have to understand. And how they try to go about framing it for other white people is that, hey, they're going to get a less qualified black person just due to the color of their skin. Never in the history of this country have they hired a black person over a white person due to the color of their skin. Okay? Especially a less qualified black person. Hasn't happened. Hasn't happened. Never. What has happened is that they have, hey, a white person and a black person, they're both equally qualified. This black person went through hell and high water to get where he is, where this white person had a tutor, had a mentor, and knew the person of the company to get that interview. And they chose to go with the black person every once in a while. And that little saltine didn't like that. He didn't like that competition. He never liked competition. Why do you think they try to constantly put us at the end of the race? And yet somehow we keep on finding our way. Finding our way to the top. Every single time we start finding our way to the top of the race, what do? They kick us right back. And they use other groups to do that. You have to understand, it's not about anti-white, it's about anti-competition. That's what that means. You have to read between the lines. He's not afraid that there'll be a black pilot. He's trying to act like this will be Soul Plane or something. He's afraid of competition. He's afraid that that white man will have to compete against that qualified black man. And if the white person who's in head of hiring, right, is not a racist and a saltine like him, then now it's open season. It's open season for little Timmy, because little Timmy won't get that advantage. Right? They want to talk about meritocracy. These mofos is paying to try to get into school. They paying to get into Harvard. They have, as far as other people who've been from Harvard. Well, I forgot what it's called. I'm blanking at the moment. These mofos don't know anything about hard work. They've never had to do it in their lives. They've always known someone, gotten an edge, gotten a loan, a private loan from their family for $100K, for $300K. I lifted myself up by the bootstrap. I did everything myself. These mofos have never done that. As a group, they've never done that. There's only one group that has done that. FBA, Black Americans here. Only one. And they have done everything in the power, even to this day, to try and hold us back. Try to mar our image, try to exploit our culture, try to manipulate our women, make them feel inferior, try to emasculate our men. They have done everything in their power, and yet we still here, pimpin'. And we're not going anywhere. We still here, okay? We were here before you, and we'll be here long time after you, all right? So I just want you to understand that, hey, don't be upset at Charlie. Don't be upset at these saltines. Don't be upset. Just, you know what? You gotta laugh. You just gotta laugh at their inferiority complex that they have. It's just, it's really sad to see. But you have to understand, it comes from a lineage of evil. It comes from a lineage of evil. Them talking about merit. Stop it. Miss me with the nonsense. That fragility that you see on display, expect more of that. Expect a lot more of it. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe, look, you're a racist, okay? You're a racist, okay? He has a point, okay? I don't want a black person in there that's not qualified. Or if you believe, sir, what are you talking about? That's never been a problem. There's always been a white person who hasn't been qualified due to racism because they didn't want to choose a black person. What are you talking about? The history of this country, when it comes to presidents, okay, when it comes to any position, that's never been the case. Black Americans have always had to go above and beyond to prove ourselves, to prove our competence. We had to be double as smart as you, okay? Quadruple in some cases, just to be seen. Please stop it. Stop projecting your inferiority on my people. Stop doing that. I'd appreciate it if you could do it. If you could do that favor, please. Anyways, if you happen to disagree with the video, you're more than welcome to call in during Disagreement Day, okay? And I will answer your call, and we will have a lengthy and thought-provoking discourse, okay? It may be one-sided, but maybe you'll learn something. Disagreement Day typically starts from Friday to Sunday. There'll be a number on screen. You call in, we duke it out. Either or, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment. I expect to see a lot of fragility in the comments, at least a little sprinkle, okay? A little sprinkle. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and all that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing. I lifted myself up by the bootstrap. I did everything myself.